Hey everybody, Alan Barnosky here with a lesson for Acoustic Guitar Magazine. Today we are looking at the Locktender's Reel from Eric Skye. He recorded this as a fingerstyle arrangement and also as a flat picking arrangement. So we're going to be looking at the flat picking one today. It comes off a record called June Apple. You can find the tab at Acoustic Guitar Magazine along with a backstory about how Eric came to write this song. I also want to mention that this has been recorded a number of different times by other artists and is increasingly being played at jams, so it's a good song to learn. When you hear it, I'm sure you're going to like it too. It's just a really catchy melody that lands well on the guitar. So what I'm going to do here is play through the tune and then kind of play through it as a demonstration, and then afterwards I'll give a few points that I think are going to help as you go about learning this. So here we go. This is the Locktender's Reel. All right, so there you go. A few points here. I want to talk about one thing for the right hand and one thing for the left hand. In the right hand, the key is going to be alternating picking. This is the way that Eric plays it. It's the way that Eric kind of does flat picking in general and the way most flat pickers play. Eric calls it rhythmic picking, but the concept is the same. What you're going to want to do is line up downstrokes to happen on the beats, upstrokes to happen on the upbeats. So for a measure that's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, that would be down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. So just on the open E string here, it would go like this. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. All right, so that's pretty straightforward. Where it gets tricky is when you have different rhythms, because you might have multiple upstrokes in a row or multiple downstrokes in a row, depending on what happens rhythmically. In the Locktender's Reel, the rhythm at the beginning of the tune starts off with 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. I'm starting with 4 and because there's a little pickup measure. But what happens here is the rhythm is going to be down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. So I'll just do that here on the high E string. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. So you'll see that there's 2 downstrokes in a row where that quarter note happens. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. So that makes it a little bit tricky. If this is all super confusing, you can find the pick directions in the tablature, and I recommend just kind of learning it that way, following those pick directions. The reason why you want to do this is because downstrokes are naturally heavier sounding. You're working with gravity, you're using some big muscle groups in the hand and the arm. So they're just naturally heavier sounding. And downbeats, again, should just naturally be, most of the time, should be heavier sounding. So you can kind of use that to your advantage with those downstrokes. So you get this natural kind of pulse when you play it. Go back and listen to my demonstration of the tune, and you'll be able to hear that pulse kind of naturally happening. All right, so that's the idea using alternating picking here. In the left hand, what I would recommend is letting notes ring out when you're going from one string to another string. So as an example, just the beginning of the tune here. All right, so just right at the beginning, those first few notes, you've got that B string, and then you go down to the G string and play A and G. And what you can do is let that B note let that continue to ring out as you go on to the next set of notes. And you just get this nice kind of overlapping quality. So the first full 2 measures of Locktender's reel only happens on 2 strings. It's just on 2 strings, but even with just those 2 strings, you can let this overlapping sound happen. Check this out. All right, so throughout that, I'm letting the B string ring out over the G string when I go down to it. And vice versa, let the G string ring out over the B string. All right, so you can do that throughout this tune. There are some instances where you might choose to not want notes to ring out, and that's totally fine. So like at the end of measure 7 going into measure 8, that, in my opinion, those 2 notes kind of clash. So you might not want that F sharp to ring out over the G, and you can cut it short just by lifting your finger. All right, but the idea is that you can pick and choose. So if you want it to ring, you can, and you're just building in that that ability, that technical ability to get a little bit more musicality, more nuance out of your playing. So those are the 2 tips, the right hand tip, the left hand tip. I hope you have a good time playing this tune. If you have any questions, drop it below. You can also send me an email, or you can send Eric an email. He's usually pretty receptive to those kinds of things. You can find his email and get in touch as well. So would love to hear from you. Have fun with this tune. Good luck, and I'll see you next time.